Hey, all. Today we're going to kind of continue a little bit of our conversation from last week and talk about journaling and one pagers and if setting goals and goal setting is really right for the busy mom.
Balancing building a successful business and being a superstar mom is hard, and yet, in today's digital world, it's more common than ever.
The question becomes, how do we successfully grow a business and children at the same time?
Join us for a candid conversation as we share our insights into marketing and motherhood. I'm Angela Reeder.
And I'm Jessie Valle. Welcome to the Marketing Moms Podcast.
You know how when you say something out loud, like you'll start to get ads for it?
Yeah.
Like your phone is always listening to you. That's how I feel right now. I know that we've been discussing just morning routines and being organized and how busy moms can implement that kind of thing. And today, as I was taking a look at Instagram, an ad popped up from Brendan Burchard about a one-page productivity planner. Now, Brendan Burchard is like a 3-time New York Times bestselling author. He has the book High Performance Habits. He's basically a life coach for high performers, right? And so he's, been interviewed by Oprah, Forbes, Larry King, like all the things. And so he's just like a life coach, high
He's a
performance
big
coach.
deal.
He's a big deal for high performers.
Right.
So he was offering this free one-page productivity download. And of course, as any good salesperson does, when you get something free, they offer something paid on the back end, which we could definitely have another conversation about the marketing tactics. But that's not what this episode is about. It was interesting because I went ahead and signed up for the free one pager because I was like, okay, well, what would he say in this one pager? And I was actually shocked. I opened it up and I was telling Angela about it, and I'm like, we gotta have a conversation about
We
this
have to
on
have
air. We gotta talk about this. One of the big things is that I understand why you do it. For people who sell things, there's a sort of psychology of teaching people that your way is the way.
Yes.
Like it's the only way. And Angela and I are here to tell you realistically, candidly, that there are many ways to reach the same goals, and different people need different paths to that same goal. And so I'm going to talk about this, knowing full well that it's not for everyone, but then also coming back to us as busy moms. So,
Yeah.
first, let me describe what this is, unless you have something to add before I go on.
Nope. Have at it.
Okay, cool. So the first thing is you put the date, you write a message to yourself, which, okay, cool. Message to myself.
All right.
I've got today's top 3 goals, things that must be done today, and people I need to reach out to. Okay, that alone is going to take me
Yeah, that's
10,
going to be a
15
bit.
minutes.
Yeah.
Then I go through a 10-question morning mindset list.
See, that's the part where they lost me.
I mean, I understand that it could just be like one-word answers, but I am not a fan, and Angela and I are totally guilty of this. We've created a journal in the past, and we used it for a while, and then we stopped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We've tried other things in the past. We use it for a while, and we stop. And for me, one of the reasons is if it asks too much of you, and also it's too repetitive. Like, I can't.
Yes.
So, side note, when we interviewed Kara Sharon for our Marketing Moms Monthly podcast, in membership, she told us about her Be the Best You gratitude journals. And I still use it because I absolutely love the fact that every day is different.
Me too. Yes, that was the thing that really got me about her gratitude journal, that every day was different. And I was
Exactly.
pleasantly surprised by that because I did not expect it.
Yeah, I love that. But anyway, back to this one page productivity high performance planner. I mean, it's got things like a situation that might stress me out or trip me up today could be blank. And the way that my best self would deal with that is blank. I know it's good to have a plan for the bad things, but I don't want to sit there and come up with what could go wrong every day.
Right.
I don't feel like that's the best use of my time. So anyway, then there's a spot where you can write, like it's your daily calendar. So you write in your whole daily calendar. And then there's a 6-question evening journal and a scorecard where you rate yourself 1 through 5 on 6 different areas on how you did that day.
Okay, I see the purpose in reflecting on the day.
Mm-hmm.
I do see that, and I know that it's valuable to like go back and reflect on your goals and how your day went, but I can guarantee I'm not going to remember to do that like
Mm-hmm.
certainly not in a structured way. I might remember to like kind of mentally go back over it, but I'm not going to remember to do that in a structured way, especially
Something
not at
else.
bedtime with my kids.
Oh, yeah. Something else I realized is there might be ways to implement pieces of this without
Mhm.
doing the whole thing. We mentioned on our last episode that if you set yourself up for too rigorous a morning routine, especially when you
Mhm.
fail, you've already hit yourself down. You've already knocked
Yeah.
yourself down and you just woke up. I don't want to set you up for failure. I don't want to set you up to make you feel like you're not enough first thing in the morning because you can't fill out a 10-question morning mindset and messages to yourself and top 3 goals and tasks that need to be done and people you need to reach out to. Just
Right.
saying it is long enough. So, what I would say is I'm laughing at Angela. I think her pet's doing something funny and she literally just
My
turned around
pet was
and took a picture. I'm like,
funny
what
and I
are you
had to take a
doing?
picture. I didn't realize my sound was on, sorry.
Anyway, um, I don't want to set you up for failure, but maybe there's a way that you can take just the pieces or implement it in a different way that's helpful for you. So, me, for example, you might be the type of person that sits down for an hour to fill this out while drinking your morning coffee. Cool. That's not me. I can sit down realistically 5 minutes tops, maybe. And that's while I'm waiting for the dog to go potty or something, you know?
Mhm.
So if I'm thinking about this for myself, maybe it's just picking one of those questions each day and thinking about it.
Yeah, instead of writing it
Yeah,
down.
not even writing it down. It's I'm just going to randomly pick and today I'm going to answer one bold action I could take today is blank.
Yeah.
Cool. I could do that. Or same thing at night. You talked about not remembering to do that. Well, what if you printed those 6 questions out and you had them hanging on the wall by your bed? Could you not
Mm.
just walk up,
Yeah.
pick one of those questions and think about it as
Think
you fall
about it.
asleep?
I could do that. Don't think I could do it in the like sit down and write it out structured way, but
Mhm.
I could definitely remember to like mentally reflect on it.
And even if you don't answer one of those 6 questions, it's still a reminder to let me reflect. Like, how did today go? What is something that went awesome today? And how would I have handled a situation differently that happened today? And just having, even if it's not a post of those questions on the wall, like, what if you just put a little sticker on your bedpost or something, you know?
Yeah.
Or a little token. Some people like those gratitude rocks,
Mhm.
things like that. Just something to remind you to stop and think for a moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. And I think there's a lot to be said for things like the one page productivity thing we're talking about, where it certainly gives you a lot of options. And
Hmm.
like you said, if you're the kind of person that can sit down and fill the whole thing out and then remember to do it again in the evening, good on you. But if you're not, things like that can feel frustrating and overwhelming if you feel like you have to do them all every day.
Yeah. Some of
But
the
if you
planners we've,
break it up or you take pieces of it that work, that can be a little bit less overwhelming.
yeah, some of the planners we've had in the past, I feel guilty
Mhm.
spending money on and then not
Yep.
using it.
Yeah. Yep,
Like
exactly.
that's why it's tough because there's always going to be people who need that. You might be the person that needs
Right.
that. Cool. But as busy moms of growing children,
Mhm.
it is really hard for Angela and I right now. So we can imagine other moms being in the same position. It's really hard to say I'm going to sit down and journal. Like really? Okay. Again,
Right.
coming from an older man who
Right.
knows,
Who may
I
or
don't
may
even
not
know
have
if he has
children.
kids, and if he does, how involved he is, and if they're older and they don't need his attention as much. Like his point in life is different than my point in life.
Right.
So it's really hard to create the way for
Mhm.
everyone.
Yeah, and I think part of the frustration that I find with people that, say, "Oh, I've tried this planner and that planner and I've done this and I've done that program," is that, like you said earlier, everybody, for good reason, but everybody markets like this is the only way. It has
Mhm.
to be done exactly my way
Mhm.
in order to work, and this is the only way it can work. And so when you've gone through program after program after program and planner after planner after planner and nothing's working, it can really feel like, what's wrong with me? Well, nothing's wrong with you. It's just that nobody can come up with a way that works for everybody all the time.
Mhm.
And if you can't find a way to adapt and recognize what does work for you, you're just going to keep being frustrated.
Mhm. Yeah. So I guess this episode can be a little shorter today
Yeah.
because I just want it to be a reminder that your way doesn't have to be the same as the next person. And the best way to do anything is the way that works best for you.
Yeah. And it's okay if you have to take pieces of a program or a planner or a something and make that work for you. Like, you
Hmm.
are probably not going to find a planner, if you're a planner person, that's going to completely 100% work for you. There may be parts of it you just have to ignore and like be okay with that. Um, or you may have a couple programs sitting in your teachable school or something that you've been avoiding because they feel overwhelming. Maybe you can go in there and find pieces of those that are going to help you,
Hmm.
and just kind of keep in mind that it doesn't have to be all or nothing.
I'm the worst. I'm over here actually looking at, oh, okay. So marketingmomspodcast.com/balance.
Yes.
That's where you can get our free balance journal.
Yes. And hopefully there will be some pieces in there that will help you.
Hmm. But again, it's not something that we're telling you you have to use the whole thing.
Right.
Like you can just use pieces of it. But if you are someone, and Angela and I were just actually mentioning that as well, I asked her, since there's this, we've talked about the power sheets in the past, and it's this really big year long journal, notebook, planner that we used to buy every single year. the day it came out because we were so
The day it
obsessed.
came out.
Part of that is because they're so pretty. You
They
love
are. They're
carrying them
very
around.
pretty.
But then we realized after the high of the purchase, the
Mhm.
dopamine hit ends.
Yes.
What were we left with? Well, we were left with something that we would only fill out a few times a year versus weekly.
Right.
And we came to the decision that we were going to stop purchasing them and create our own balance journal, which we did. And then eventually we stopped using that as well. And it made me step back and be like, we made what we said we wanted. Why
Right.
aren't we using it?
Yeah.
And I think it really just came down to it was too much for us at this time in
Yeah.
our life. Not that it's
Yeah.
not useful, and not that some people aren't going to find it useful. Check it out yourself. It's free.
It's free. Yeah.
marketingmomspodcast.com/balance.
And there are still parts of it I think are useful even in this season, but it's the whole thing is not, is a bit much for the season that we're in.
Right. So I would say that you should just sit down and think about what you need right now.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's, like we said, maybe it's one question a day.
Yeah.
At some point in your 24 hours, sit down for 5 minutes and answer one question. Maybe it's that. Just something to bring you back to how you want to live your life.
Right.
And not get caught up in the stress of work that doesn't matter, the stress of the neighborhood drama, the stress of the family drama.
Yeah.
But just bringing it back to you and how you want to live your life and how you want to present that to your children and beyond.
Yep. Progress, not perfection.
There you go. Okay. So I guess that's what we would say today is think about that. And then if you'd like, check out our free balance journal over at marketingmomspodcast.com/balance. So, until next week. Bye.
Thank you for joining us today. We're so honored this is where you chose to spend your time.
If this episode helped you in some way, please share it with another mom who needs to hear it. We're in this together.
And if you're ready for next steps, free goodies, and more, head over to marketingmomspodcast.com.
We'll see you next week.